I'm Joey Vola, and sitting next to me is Christopher Sudlik, who has been attending UMSL for about 1 year. I first discovered him in my composition class reading a book. Christopher, would you tell the community what made you decide to join UMSL TV?
Well, it sounds like a whole lot of fun to me, to be honest. That's about it.
Okay. Tell us a little bit more about yourself with regards to UMSL TV. Like, what is it? What are some of your talents with respect to UMSL TV?
Well, I've always been kind of a person that just kind of floats around and does a whole lot of stuff. On my robotics team, I could fill in on every single part of it, so I'm kind of up for whatever this throws my way.
Cool. Tell us a little bit more about your robotics team.
Well, it was from 9th grade to 11th grade before it got canceled. It was a whole lot of fun. I led one of the sub-teams. We broke it into sub-teams for different areas. I led virtual prototyping, and that was a whole lot of fun.
Sounds really cool. And what's your major here at UMSL?
Mechanical engineering, the joint engineering program.
What kind of job do you plan on getting in the future with that major?
Well, I'd like to be the lead of an engineering team someday, because it's what I did in robotics, and it's a whole lot of fun.
Cool. What was the first thing you ever invented?
Well, that's a kind of hard question to answer, because I don't really have a good memory going way back, but I know that when I was young, all of my ideas always hit snags when I was trying to work out the math or something. Nowadays, I'm working on a couple different things, but mostly my first ideas happened in robotics. Good stuff.
And what was the first thing you ever invented, like with robotics? What kinds of stuff do you invent with robotics? Like, is it like a machine that moves, or?
Yeah, we had to make robots to fulfill a certain part of a game. It's kind of like,
right?
Yeah, every year there was a different game. We had 6 weeks to build a robot. The first one, I didn't have any say in the design because I came in partway through the season. But the second year, I virtually prototyped it. It wasn't really my choice of a design, though.
Yeah.
The third year, I really made the design. Now, that was awesome. There was a 6-foot wide ball covered in a very slick fabric.
Uh-huh.
And we had a robot that had to fit in like a 2 by 3 foot area.
Yeah.
And the team told me to design a robot, me and my team, to design a robot that would be able to pick up this ball, throw it over a 6-foot ladder, which is more than twice as tall as the robot, and continuously drive, and to have that thing that picks up the ball pass within the robot.
Wow.
It was absolutely astounding.
That's impressive. Sounds like some pretty high-tech stuff.
Yeah.
And are you currently working on any invention at the moment?
Actually, I am. I'm working on a consumer product, a bit of a toy for kids. It's kind of like a sprinkler, except shaped like a car wash with brushes and stuff for their little vehicles and their little tricycles and stuff. And I'm also working on something else that's a little odd.
Do you feel free to talk about it? Do you feel comfortable talking about it, or?
Sure. Now, I'm kind of working on an idea of nuclear fusion, which has been presented a lot of different times in a lot of different ways, but the major problem with it is that when you're trying to put together the nuclei of atoms, they're both positively charged, so they push away from each other with a tremendous amount of force. I was using a problem-solving technique called wishful thinking, where you say, what is a problem that we can avoid? And I'm like, well, what if they didn't repulse each other? And I was reminded of reverse beta decay, where you force the electron into the proton and make it a high-energy neutron, which is absolutely awesome because then you can just force tons of these nuclei together and then they dissolve back into complex molecules, releasing a tremendous amount of energy.
Cool. So, well, that's science for you. And
yeah.
Do you plan on inventing any intangibles in the future?
Actually, I do. One of my big goals in life is to make sure that the education system is revised, because the education system we have here in America was just thrown together. I mean, it started off as a training system to get kids into work, and then it just kind of was built on with standards and regulations, and there's no rhyme or reason to it. It was designed not by educators, but by legislators, and it's not real good. I want to put together a bunch of high-level educators and have them design a curriculum where we can teach our kids as much as we possibly can while they're still kids.
Well, hey, where would America be without politics, you know?
Yeah.
Well, that's all the questions I have for Mr. Sudlik. Do you have anything else you'd like to add to the camera?
UMSL rocks. That's about it.
That's all we have for today.